Are you looking forward to 2.7? Galbrena, Qian, combat events? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there isn't anything like that. In fact, 2.7 has been an utter disaster. Not because its story is garbage, but because everything else is complete trash. We're gonna get into why, but just know that there's nothing really to do in this game. And that is extremely concerning. With flashes of Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, and all sorts of bombastic effects, Galbrena is one of the most visually pleasing units Kuro has ever released. She's quick, she's witty, her chimera is also incredibly interactive, and playing her feels extremely immersive. That being said, I just don't feel like I have a lot to do with her. I got her to S6, and while I don't regret that, what I do feel a little salty about is just how little so many are talking about how little there is to do in the game. Sure, the story is awesome, but I don't play Wuwa for the story. I got into Wuwa because of its combat. People know about Wuwa because of its combat. And the fact that people aren't up in arms about a lack of combat events or any changes to our existing endgame is honestly absurd. Now, you've likely watched plenty of videos already saying how it's been months since we've gotten any combat events, and you'd be correct. Because, yeah, it's been literal months, almost 3 to be exact. I came back to this game around the anniversary in 2.4, and since Banners Never Fall and Virtual Crisis, yeah, nothing to do. And I had hoped that from Virtual Crisis onward, they would start implementing these sorts of events permanently, making the endgame a bit more challenging. But instead of doing that, all they did was release story and coloring events and puzzles, and that's just not what Wu was about. People like flashy combos, they love the quick swapping, the animations, everything associated with it. From creators like Wallenstein or maybe Saint Tontas, who likes to give free-to-play guides to the masses, right? People in general are looking for content to watch or talk about when it regards to gameplay. And to be honest, there's just nothing cool about coloring and puzzles. Okay, like if we wanted to play those types of games, we download Tetris on our phones. You'd think by now they would have learned. I mean, the 1.x series of the game had a lot of negative feedback, and they redeemed themselves in 2.0 with Renacida. That being said, there's much to do. Or rather, there needs to be much to do. Right? Wiwa and Tower reset monthly. They shouldn't. They should be resetting like on a weekly basis. Why isn't this a thing yet? Why don't we have harder endgame modes like we see in Honkai Star Rail, like Anomaly Arbitration? Heck, I even watch Zenless Zone Zero gameplay from time to time, and I must admit, kinda jealous when I see them do Deadly Assault and it looks like they're having a blast. Full sequences or not, like, it looks genuinely fun. I wish we just had harder content that isn't just the holograms, the one and dones, where we could just engage with the rest of the community who loves to do the combat, who loves to improve their units, the theory crafting, all of it, and just dive deep, head first. That's where you get your replayability. And right now, this endgame has 0 replayability. We need a ladder for new endgame modes and existing modes. We need something to keep us going. Sure, there's going to be people who have said and will say, probably continue to say, just play other games. I came from playing MMOs and I still play MMOs from time to time. But honestly, I don't need somebody else telling me what to play, how to play, and when to play. Okay? This game has a lot of potential, and it's leaving a lot of it on the table for seemingly no good reason. Now, one would hope that in 2.8, there's going to be a turnaround, or at the very least, 3.0, but that isn't assured. And so, the best thing we can do right now is advocate for more changes and be adamant about it. And I don't see enough people being adamant about it, quite honestly. Some content creators have been quite adamant about it, but others have simmered down. And honestly, I don't think that's a good thing. Truly, that's not a good thing. You see, a lot of content that I've been watching over the last few weeks, even months, people don't really get up in arms about the endgame for this game, and I always wonder why. When I look up the endgame in Google search, most people think it's too easy from other games and even in this game. When I see content creators talking about it, it seems that they're more concerned with talking about accessibility for the free-to-play or casual rather than making it deeper, making it better, making it not really accessible for all necessarily, but more rich for all. So even if you're new or free to play, you have something to work towards. And if, well, you've invested yourself quite heavily, there's something for you to work towards too. And you don't feel like you have nothing to do. And while this is a gacha game, which is a mobile game, it doesn't mean our expectations should be any less than what we, come to know this game to be good for, which is its combat. Just because it's a mobile game doesn't mean that the combat should be super easy and take 2 minutes. There can be depth. There can be longevity. It exists elsewhere, why not here? And no, I'm not interested in hearing, go play another game. I'm sure other content creators have expressed similar sentiments. Well, I'll parrot that. I think it's erroneous to claim or say, hey, if you don't like it, well, go play something else. No, I'm going to keep playing this game, and I'm going to keep telling Kuro, hey, I spent a lot of money on this game. A lot of people spent a lot of time on this game. I also spent a lot of time on this game. So, can you fix the game in the ways that it should be fixed? And the end game is the biggest, most egregious thing right now. There needs to be more incentive for vertical progression, and we can't continue to advocate for the game to be diluted so that it continues to be broad for a broad audience. Because this is literally the result, guys. 2.7 with no event. You literally have an entire month where we will have a Vampire Survivor event and nothing else. That's not okay. And people will talk about it. And new people who are thinking about playing this game, why wouldn't they play something else like Zenless Zone Zero and ignore this one until Kuro gets their act together and actually gives us what we've been telling them? Why go through all the nonsense? Just make these changes now. Make the end game a weekly repeatable thing. We need something to do literally every week. That might sound extreme, but honestly, it's not. This anomaly arbitration suggestion, add it to WUWA and make that the monthly thing, right? If it takes a month, or you have this month where, you're vertically progressing to try to get as far as you can in the hardest content and see what rewards you can get depending on how many points you get, right? Hopefully this isn't time gated, so it's accessible to people. Maybe it has a leaderboard, right? And the cosmetic rewards are permanent, and if there's any astrite at all, it's on like the lower end and it's easily accessible at the early ranks of completing it, like that sort of thing. Hopefully we get something like that, right? That's what we should be asking for. A weekly reset of Tower, a weekly reset of WUWA, maybe 2 new endgame modes to swap between bi-weekly, so they're, alternating, and then again, the end of the month or whatever, you reset this anomaly arbitration thing, right? Give us a deadly assault type mode. We need more. More things to fight. More things to kill. And I'm gonna be honest, one hologram isn't enough. And I'm going to briefly just touch upon the new units in this game right now in 2.7. They're following a trend a lot of people don't like. Personally, I'm not too against it if it makes sense, but honestly, this doesn't make sense. Galbrena and Xion are not the same element, and Mono Fusion and Mono Arrow exist. We need a replacement for Arrow Rover. He does not feel good to play. We need a premium replacement. We need somebody in Mono Fusion who's going to take Galbrena to new heights. And sure, Lupa is giving her a ton of fusion damage bonuses, but Brant doesn't do anything for her. And while he was okay with Chang Li, well, where's the echo skill damage stuff? Like, this new unit has a new mechanic that they decided to put in this game. And there's no mono fusion echo skill damage unit for us to put in this mono fusion team. So, like what are we supposed to do with that? Like, I don't want units to get bricked now in the future because of a lack of foresight. Maybe a patch or 2 or 3 or however long, right? Like, this is not even power creep. I don't even know if this is feature creep. It just seems like a blatant oversight. Like, you can't add new features to the game like this in the combat and new units and not really account for that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think 2.7 is a total brick of a patch? Do you think we need more endgame content? Would you like to see more endgame content like anomaly arbitration? Do you think a weekly reset of the tower and Wiwa is too much or is appropriate? I'd love to know. Anyway, peace.